super excited here to start off this fireside chat with Fogo. So without further ado, why don't we get some quick intros going? I'll start off. I'm Nero. I'm Crypto Ape on Twitter. I'm the CEO and founder of MCA. And Michael.
Hello, everyone. Excited to be here. My name is Michael Powell. I'm the CMO at Duro Labs and a contributor to both Fogo and Pith.
Awesome. We're big fans of Fogo and Pith, Pith being one of our partners, one of our longest partners. So without further ado, let's get this rolling. So Michael, tell us about Fogo. What is Fogo?
Absolutely. Fogo is the most performant layer one blockchain that's ever existed. It's an SVM L1 that is designed to have the greatest on-chain trading experience ever. So we have purpose-built a blockchain designed for trading and have done some unique architectural, structural things to the chain, like multi-local consensus. We're using peer Firedancer, and we've actually brought the block times and the latency down significantly beyond what anyone has been able to achieve thus far.
Absolutely huge, huge shoes to fill over there. Love to see that. So I guess why don't I ask you, like, what is the relationship with Fogo, Pith, and Firedancer, if you can share with the audience?
Absolutely. So no, I guess, formal relationship, right? It's more of we have some of our core contributors and founding members who have hailed from Jump, Citadel, some of that kind of high frequency trading world. And we originally were the initial contributors to Pith and started out solving the market data problem, both on-chain and off-chain. And then we had an opportunity where Duro Labs was pitched, and we get pitched projects fairly often. When Fogo came up, the original founders of the project had raised $5.5 million and said, hey, we have this vision to build a purpose-built layer one blockchain for trading, but we don't have the marketing, BD, and the engineering resources to bring it to life. So at that point in time, really caught our eye once we saw what was under the hood. We actually were like, damn, this has a chance to be extremely disruptive from a L1 standpoint. And we took on the project. It was almost exactly a year ago now that we became kind of core contributors to Fogo as well.
Love it. Awesome story, and huge names over there. So this is obviously super exciting. So the perps wars, let's call it that, is heating up in the space right now. What's your general take on it?
My general take is excitement. I think the timing is honestly perfect, especially building a layer one that's actually optimized for trading, right? And everyone's talking about the speculation use case right now. Prediction markets and perps, right? Those are really, I think, the two most pure ways of bringing speculation to life on chain. And what we've seen with, Hyperliquid, of course, and then Aster, Lighter, Pacifica, as well as starting to emerge too. I think the narrative is extremely strong right now. And I don't want to say fallibility, but the potential vulnerability of Hyperliquid is apparent, right? It's not going to be one player takes all. Hyperliquid cannot be dethroned. The opportunity is ripe.
No, love that. So I know Pith Pro most recently released. How does maybe you want to touch upon Pith Pro and how that maybe relates to Fogo?
Absolutely, yeah. We can change gears a little bit to Pith right now too. So on Pith, what we've done is take market data directly from institutions. We work with over 120 institutions right now, banks, trading firms, exchanges, and they publish their data to Pith, and we make that data available on chain. That's been our model for a long time. In that journey, we have actually created one of the most valuable and comprehensive sources of market data that's ever existed, right? You think of Bloomberg, right? They are a huge source of market data. Well, now we have a source of like proprietary data that rivals Bloomberg, and institutions have started to take notice and said, hey, not only do we want to publish our data to Pith, but we want to consume data from Pith as well. And that got us thinking we should launch a new product and go kind of in our B2B SaaS era, right? We actually launched last week Pith Pro, which is a subscription service that makes market data across every geography and every asset class available to institutions. It's more cost effective than what anyone else in the market is able to offer because of our use of blockchain technology. And it's also not siloed and fragmented by a vertical, an asset class, a geography, right? You think about New York Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange, Hong Kong Stock Exchange, they offer equities in their area, right? Like, okay, we have US equities, we have UK equities. Pith offers everything. And now it can become this one-stop shop, streamlined integration for institutions to access real-time market data.
That's absolutely huge. The opportunities are literally endless over there. So I guess this is probably a good segue into, let's say, competitive advantage. Do you want to maybe touch upon Fogo's competitive advantage? Obviously, with Pith and Firedancer, being partners, there's obviously something there. But yeah, I'll let you take the floor there.
Yeah, absolutely. We can dive a little bit into the way that we have Fogo structured. So it came out of the thesis that Solana's global consensus is too slow for high frequency trading. And so we come from the high frequency trading world. And again, it was more about how do we bring latency, end-to-end transaction times and block times down as much as we can beyond Solana, right? So how that started is, I mean, the concept of co-location is not new, right? In the TradFi world, everyone wants server space in New Jersey because it's closest to the New York Stock Exchange. We're doing a similar thing on the Fogo side, where instead of having a global consensus of thousands of nodes around the world, it's consolidated in 3 cities around the world: Tokyo, New York, and London. And consensus happens in a local region when it's that time of day, when people are trading in that area. We call it the multi-local consensus follow the sun model. So it can fall back to global consensus, but when it's operating at its peak in the right region, we're able to get block times down to 40 milliseconds, which is actually a 10x improvement on what Solana is able to offer now. So that's more from a consensus model and block time standpoint. We also have enshrined oracles. We have native perp decks, spot decks, liquid staking, really everything that kind of encompasses the DeFi and trading suite of tools that it's all composable and interoperable, baked into the ecosystem itself. So we really believe we're creating the greatest on-chain trading experience ever. And there's a lot of smart people thinking about how to actually build that from the ground up.
As an investor, I'm very hyped.
Good.
So I guess as a, when you compare like general purpose blockchains to like specific purpose built blockchains like Fogo, how do you think that like helps attract institutional traders and just general like on-chain DeFi retail users as well?
Yeah, I would say it's an interesting dichotomy that I imagine a lot of ecosystems probably go through early on, right? It's like, hey, we're building for this use case. And then it's like, oh, well, we have this Web3 game project that wants to build here, and we have this NFT marketplace, and like, let's just get more applications, right? We've had to be very intentional about we are prioritizing quality over quantity and working with a handful of partners who we believe have the technical capability of creating that next evolution of the on-chain trading experience. So I think the intentionality with the ecosystem is one thing that we're in testnet right now. We'll be launching mainnet before the end of the year, and we'll go to market with a handful of day one partners that not only independently do they have that user experience that's going to set the new standard, but also they have the composability with each other that's going to kind of set the ecosystem apart.
That makes sense. And then with regards to traders and trader communities specifically, what's been some of the channels and distribution like strategies to lock those in, and what's been successful and what hasn't been?
Yeah. So, it feels like everyone's kind of in a space right now where people are fighting over the same 10,000 users who are trading on chain. And some of those people are trading with size, some of them are whales, and a lot of them are drawn based on incentives. It's no secret that people are rolling out incentives like crazy to get people to come and trade on their perp decks, come and trade on their chain. And there's a few standard things like a points program that you're probably kind of screwed if you don't do something like that. So there are more standard playbook stuff that we don't need to talk about here. Everyone knows what they are. I will touch on, I think, one of the things that I'm excited about from a trader acquisition strategy standpoint, and it's especially topical with the Hyperliquid NFT drop that just happened. But we've been planning a Fogo NFT experience for some time. And I say the word experience because there's a swath of them that are going to be reserved for the community. And then we also have these one-of-one soul-bound NFTs that are going to be only 1,000 of them in existence. And to claim one, you have to connect your wallet and prove that you've traded at least $10 million on chain in the past 30 days. So it becomes this status symbol, this NFT that you can hold in your wallet, and it will unlock certain utility throughout the ecosystem. So you can think about fee kickbacks, you can think about early access to gated features, kind of specialized community access as well, boosted APY pools, things that are going to make traders, especially whales, look at the Fogo ecosystem and say, financially, it doesn't make sense for me to trade anywhere else. That's my goal. That's what I want to have kind of that day one kickstart the flywheel. One of the strategies that we're going to be using to really drive that adoption.
Awesome. That sounds like alpha.
It is. Yeah. It's the first time I've really talked about that publicly. So yeah.
Love it, love it. In terms of like just marketing and branding on that side of things, what would you say has been like the biggest hurdles that you had to kind of overcome on the Fogo side with like the SVM story?
Yeah.
And what would you say was the biggest opportunities there?
Yeah, so when I inherited Fogo a year ago, right, and we kind of became the core contributors to the project, the founders had worked with a creative agency to kind of stand up something akin to a brand. It didn't go very well. So tearing that down from scratch, and I have a few frameworks that I use when it comes to like the brand building process, but the core of it is to create a successful brand, you really have to identify 3 things early on in the process: the enemy, the movement, and the promised land, right? If you think of really strong brands, Patagonia, for example, right? Pollution is the enemy. You think of BMW, a boring commute is the enemy, right? These Nike, laziness is the enemy, right? You have these concepts that you can kind of paint as the villain in your story. And then you have the movement, what you want to actually get people to rally around. And then the promised land is that end state, right? The greatest on-chain trading experience is ours. So going through that and really clicking into asking why. Why is this important? Why is this important? I see a lot of brands and projects in the Web3 space fall into communicating the tech without really asking why, what's the actual value to the end user at the end of the day. And it's very easy for us to get into a state of like, well, we want to be fast. We want lower latency. Speed is our thing, right? We're like, but why? Like, why does that matter, right? And then you get into, okay, well, we're actually eliminating MEV and front running, and there's a lot of actual things, that elements of the trading experience that become significantly improved when your block times are 40 milliseconds, the TPS is higher. We're running Peer Fire Dancer, and again, clicking into why, it became this idea of this. We actually came up with the concept of a tax. First of all, pretty exciting if I said to you, stop paying your taxes, right? Like, it's kind of a catchy message. Everyone would be like, wow, shit, I hate paying taxes. Legal said we can't say that. So we're not going to be saying don't pay your taxes. But the idea is stop paying your latency taxes, right? Everyone here is paying taxes if you trade on chain, whether it's friction or fees or latency. And the more you can eliminate those taxing experiences from the trading process, the more that we'll be able to actually demonstrate the greatest on-chain trading experience. So that was kind of some of the early brand building stuff that we did. And then, of course, I'm a big believer in just hiring people who are smarter than me to actually bring it to life. And I typically, starting a new brand, build out from a social, community, and content standpoint. Those are the first 3 roles that I hire for. And we did a lot of kind of grassroots community work on the Fogo side, especially here in Asia, that is paying off for us now.
Love it, love it. That's exciting, and thanks for going through all that, in like thorough detail. Some good information there. As we're wrapping up over here on the Fireside chat, what's next for Fogo?
Mainnet. Mainnet is next for Fogo. So we might be setting a record for time from inception to testnet to mainnet, which is really exciting. Testnet's been running for a couple months now and is constantly being improved. And mainnet Q4. I Can't say anything more specific than that right now, but it's coming soon. I encourage everyone to go out and try it. Give us feedback, get involved, and yeah, enjoy.
Love it. That's alpha, folks. Thanks, Michael.
Appreciate it. Thank you.